Donald Trump is back in the Oval Office, and his second presidency is proving to be as tumultuous as his first. After a period of relative quietude, Trump re-emerged onto the political scene, capitalizing on a deeply divided nation and a Republican Party eager to embrace his brand of populism. His return to power has been marked by a flurry of executive orders, policy shifts, and controversial appointments, leaving many Americans wondering what the future holds under his leadership. Trump's return was anything but conventional. He navigated a crowded Republican primary, fending off challenges from both establishment figures and rising stars within the party. His campaign rallies drew massive crowds, a testament to his enduring appeal among a significant portion of the electorate. The 2024 election was one of the most closely contested in American history, with Trump ultimately securing a narrow victory. His inauguration was met with a mixture of celebration and trepidation, reflecting the deep polarization that continues to grip the nation. Now, as Trump settles into his second term, the question remains, will he moderate his approach or double down on the policies and rhetoric that defined his first presidency? The answer, it seems, will have profound implications for the future of America. One of the most significant developments of Trump's second term has been the implementation of Project 2025, a conservative blueprint for reshaping the American healthcare system. This ambitious plan, developed by the Heritage Foundation, has long been championed by conservative lawmakers and think tanks as a means of dismantling the Affordable Care Act and reducing the role of government in healthcare. Project 2025 calls for a fundamental shift away from government-run programs like Medicaid and Medicare, advocating for a system based on private insurance and individual responsibility. It proposes replacing the ACA's subsidies with tax credits, which critics argue would disproportionately benefit higher-income earners while leaving many low-income Americans without affordable coverage. The plan also includes provisions to limit medical malpractice lawsuits, promote health savings accounts, and provide states with greater flexibility in managing their Medicaid programs. These proposals have been met with fierce opposition from Democrats and healthcare advocates, who argue that they would undermine protections for people with pre-existing conditions and lead to millions losing their health insurance. Adding fuel to the fire of controversy is Elon Musk, the billionaire entrepreneur who has become a close ally and advisor to President Trump. Musk's influence within the administration has been widely noted, particularly in areas related to technology, innovation, and government efficiency. However, his recent directive to federal workers has sparked outrage and accusations of overreach. In an email sent to all federal employees, Musk, acting in an advisory capacity to the administration, demanded that each worker submit a list of their 5 most significant accomplishments every week. This mandate, which he claimed was necessary to improve productivity and accountability, was met with immediate backlash from unions and government employees. Critics argued that the directive was not only demeaning but also impractical, given the nature of many government jobs. They also raised concerns about privacy and potential misuse of the data, particularly given Musk's close ties to the private sector. The Office of Personnel Management attempted to quell the uproar, clarifying that responding to Musk's email was optional. However, the damage was done. Several high-profile resignations followed, including senior officials from the FBI, State Department, and Department of Health and Human Services, who cited concerns about the administration's direction and Musk's growing influence. Trump's foreign policy in his second term has been characterized by a mix of isolationist tendencies and bold, often unpredictable moves on the international stage. He has continued to prioritize American interests above all else, withdrawing from multilateral agreements and engaging in bilateral negotiations that often leave allies feeling alienated. One of the most significant foreign policy challenges facing the Trump administration is the ongoing war in Ukraine. Trump has taken a less confrontational approach towards Russia than his predecessor, emphasizing the need for dialogue and diplomacy. However, his efforts to broker a peace deal have been met with skepticism from both sides, and the conflict continues to rage on. Trump's relationship with French President Emmanuel Macron has been particularly strained. The two leaders have clashed over trade, climate change, and the war in Ukraine. While they have attempted to find common ground, their fundamental differences in worldview have made it difficult to forge a strong working relationship. Trump's penchant for protectionist trade policies has returned with a vengeance in his second term. Despite warnings from economists and business leaders, he has imposed new tariffs on goods from Canada and Mexico, reigniting trade tensions with America's closest neighbors. The tariffs, which target a wide range of products including steel, aluminum, and agricultural goods, are intended to protect American jobs and reduce the trade deficit. However, critics argue that they will ultimately harm the U.S. economy by raising prices for consumers and businesses, while also damaging relationships with key trading partners. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador have both condemned the tariffs and vowed to retaliate with their own trade barriers. The escalating trade war has created uncertainty and volatility in the global economy, raising fears of a recession. The Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, a newly created agency tasked with streamlining government operations and reducing waste, has become a lightning rod for controversy. Led by Elon Musk, DOGE has undertaken a series of sweeping reforms, including budget cuts, contract reviews, and personnel changes, which have sparked outrage among government employees and public service advocates. One of the most contentious aspects of DOGE's work has been its focus on reducing the size of the federal workforce. The agency has implemented hiring freezes, offered early retirement incentives, and eliminated thousands of government jobs through attrition and layoffs. These moves have been met with fierce resistance from unions who argue that they will undermine the government's ability to serve the public. The controversy surrounding DOGE reached a boiling point when 21 civil servants resigned from the agency in protest of its policies. The resignations, which included senior officials with decades of experience, sent shockwaves through the government and raised serious concerns about the administration's commitment to public service. Trump's second term has been marked by a flurry of legal challenges to his policies and executive orders. From immigration to healthcare to environmental regulations, his administration's actions have faced intense scrutiny from courts across the country. One of the most significant legal battles involves Trump's efforts to overturn the Affordable Care Act. The administration has supported a lawsuit that seeks to invalidate the entire law, arguing that it is unconstitutional. The case has made its way to the Supreme Court, where a ruling is expected soon. Trump's immigration policies have also faced numerous legal challenges. His attempts to ban travel from several Muslim-majority countries, build a wall on the U.S.-Mexico border, and separate families at the border have all been met with lawsuits alleging discrimination and violations of due process. The legal challenges to Trump's policies reflect the deep divisions within American society and the high stakes of his presidency. The outcomes of these cases will have far-reaching consequences for the country's laws, institutions, and people. Trump's second presidency has further deepened the political and social divides that have come to define American society in recent years. His policies and rhetoric continue to galvanize his base of support while alienating his detractors, creating a climate of intense polarization and animosity. Public opinion polls reflect this stark divide. Trump's approval ratings have remained consistently low throughout his second term, hovering around 40%. However, his support among Republicans remains strong, with over 80% of GOP voters approving of his job performance. The Democratic Party, meanwhile, has become increasingly unified in its opposition to Trump. Democrats in Congress have launched numerous investigations into his administration, while also working to block his legislative agenda. The 2026 midterm elections are shaping up to be a referendum on Trump's presidency, with Democrats hoping to retake control of Congress and put a check on his power. As Donald Trump's second term unfolds, the future of America remains uncertain. His presidency has been a tumultuous period in the nation's history, marked by political upheaval, social unrest, and economic anxiety. The country is deeply divided, and the path forward remains unclear. Trump's supporters believe that he is restoring America's greatness, putting America first, and shaking up the status quo. They applaud his tax cuts, his deregulation efforts, and his tough stance on immigration. His detractors, however, view him as a threat to American democracy, a demagogue who is eroding democratic norms and institutions. The coming years will be crucial in determining the long-term impact of Trump's presidency. Will he succeed in implementing his agenda and reshaping America in his image? Or will his opponents be able to thwart his efforts and chart a different course for the country? Only time will tell.